All right, everyone. Last looks. Quiet on set. Roll sound. Sound speed. Roll camera. Camera speed. Scene 1. Take 1. Market. And action. Hi, I'm Ed, the host of Savannah on Film, and we explore the economic and cultural impact and values of the film industry in Savannah through conversations with people who work in the industry in related fields. You can find us here on WRUU-LP, Savannah, Georgia, 107.5 FM, WRUU.org. We are Savannah Soundings, community radio with global soul. Hey, do you remember me? I'm Ed, and welcome to an anniversary edition, our 3rd year anniversary, and going into our 4th year here on Savannah's #1 radio station, WRUU 107.5 FM. And this show is called Savannah on Film. I'm your host, Ed Ciucevich, and I am glad to be back. Where have I been? This is, as the recording of this is one of our first episodes. I've done a few this year, but this is one of the first few new episodes. And it's glad to be back in the captain's chair, and piloting this starship into the wonderful film industry that has been thriving here in Savannah, Georgia, where this show originates from. And as I said, this is a very special episode. I don't have a guest today. The only guest you'll get is me, your host, and I'm just gonna reminisce for a little bit about the show and the fruition of how Savannah on Film came to be. And we are here, and I'm super excited for it. Just a few things, a little house cleaning, as it were. As I said, we come on every Saturday from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. on WRUU 107.5 FM. It's 107.5 FM in Savannah. Also, we're worldwide on www.wruu.org. And so you definitely want to check us out there, and check out the website, www. It's the W's. I don't think I need, at this point in 2021, do I need to say www, but it's wruu.org. And you can catch a lot of great shows there, a back catalog of stuff there. Great content on the radio station. I did mention that we were once again voted in the Connect Savannah poll this year. We were voted once more as Savannah's best local radio station, and something we're very good at winning, the best talk radio. So that is super fantastic. Congratulations to all the hosts, all the people behind the scenes you never hear or see at WRUU that make this happen, that bring you local content, that brings you not just local, but global content. And WRUU is on Twitter, so you want to check them out there, follow them there. They're on Facebook and all the other social media platforms pretty much. And you can probably see if you're watching the video, of course you're hearing this on the radio, now, but if you're watching the video on Facebook, you can like and subscribe, or like and follow Savannah on Film, and all of our social media. We're here on YouTube at Savannah on Film. So you just go to YouTube and you can search for Savannah on Film. Click that subscribe button, enable notifications on there. That way, when we have new content like this, you'll be the first to know. You'll be alerted. And you can also give some thumbs up. We always appreciate that on the videos if you like them. And we're always looking for those subs, as I call them, subscribers on YouTube. Very much appreciated. Very much appreciate the interaction on all the videos there. Just so you know, we have an Instagram. It's Savannah on Film Radio. One word, Savannah on Film Radio. That's our Instagram. Our Twitter is Savannah on Film 1. Savannah on Film 1 is our Twitter. So there's a lot of ways you can reach us here. If you're interested in being on the show, if you are a film professional, or you're up and coming or in the industry, and you're an interesting person to talk to, you've got a great story, I'm always looking for new and exciting guests. Savannah on Film has been an integral part of the Savannah film industry, the community here. We have a very large and growing community over the years. Our first episode was June 18th, it was 2018. So June 18th of 2018. And I was super excited when I brought the idea to the station and they approved it and said, yeah, this will be great. I mean, there are other people and other shows all over the internet that you could watch that talk about the film industry, and they all have their own angles and different things. But if you want to know about the film industry and what's happening in the film industry, and you want to hear from some people locally and people from Hollywood and other places in between, at all different levels, I love to say that I have only interesting guests on here. So I've got to be very interesting today to you, because I want to live up to that motto of being interesting. And anyway, this is a labor of love, the radio show. I've always, give you a little background about myself, I've always loved radio. It's audio is in my blood. It's to know me is to know that I do love radio. I do love audio, being a sound mixer. It's extremely important to me. Being a podcaster since 2008, it's very important to me. Sound and content. Content's the hard thing sometimes, but on this show, it's not so difficult. It's just finding the right people to talk to, and we're very conversational here. It's an interview, but it's anybody who's been on the show. And I invite you to give us some recommendations or shout outs on either YouTube or Facebook or whatever platform that you choose. We always appreciate your feedback. We especially appreciate positive feedback, positive, constructive feedback. But, tell us some of your stories if you've been on the show. And if you want to be on the show, let us know. And but Savannah's got a very rich, not just rich money wise, but rich in the other sense that of a film community. We have so many talented folks. We have the Georgia Film Academy over there at Savannah Tech, which I came through the GFA program there. And shout out to John Grace, who's still running that program there, and it's still putting out a lot of great film professionals, a lot of different individuals that have started out maybe at one thing and moved on to something else, but they get that great foundation. Of course, we have SCAD. Where would Savannah be without SCAD and the wonderful things that they're doing, including their brand new studio they're going to be creating, that's going to have what I call sort of Mandalorian-like abilities. It's really going to help propel the Savannah film industry, the local industry here. And we're all about industry, about the Savannah film industry, but we're all about the infrastructure too. That's one of the main things. If you've listened or watched any of our Savannah on Film shows since 2018 when this show began, you'll realize that there's always that infrastructure that we talk about. And it's not just physical buildings, and it's not just that, it's the infrastructure of people and the different levels of it. But having, do we need more sound stages? Yes. Do we need more? Do we need the flight from Savannah to LA? Yes. That's something that's, getting closer, or let's just build a super fast railway from Savannah to Los Angeles and back, to Hollywood. That would be great. Um, but we talk about infrastructure a lot. My idea for this show is the average person that's thinking about getting into the film industry, or is, wondering, well, what's going on in the film industry? Through this radio show here on WRUU, through the videos on our YouTube channel, and through all of our other social media, we've had a lot of people gain a lot of knowledge from many of the guests. I've had actors, I've had producers, directors, screenwriters, storyboard artists, a lot of good people that have become my friends, as I call film friends, and it's really good to have that, and to know that Savannah is still developing generations of talent that's from all walks of life, all aspects of life, and they're bringing their unique voices to the screen, and that's what's important. It's about the content, and getting that content seen and heard is what is very important. And I hope that this show, it's always been what I envision this show to be, is always something that, like a vehicle that shines a spotlight, especially on those who might not get the spotlight. They might not be network television, they might not be cable network, they might not be hooked up to, the big wigs in the industry or whatever, but I know that a lot of people do watch this show. I realize there are a lot of professionals, a lot of people in California and other places that really matter. And, well, every place matters, but you know what I mean, in the industry. And I hope you like the content you're seeing and hearing. And we always try to showcase people. And, you may be a casting director, and you instead of just always putting out the Facebook posts and the other social media posts, you may check out some of our back catalog of stuff we have here on the show on YouTube, and also on Facebook. You may see some people, you may hear some people, and you may be intrigued by them. They may be somebody you want to cast in one of your films. They could be someone that could be, on one of the various departments of your production. Savannah has a lot to offer. We are more than just tax incentives. Do the tax incentives bring productions? Yes, they do. Are we thankful for that? Yes, we are. And so are the productions, because it is about the bottom line. No matter what anybody tells you, it's about the bottom line. But it's also about getting that director's vision, getting it off of the page and translating it to the screen. The magic that happens in the thousands of people that it takes, even on smaller productions. Sometimes it's 100 people, sometimes it's 50 people, sometimes it's 20, sometimes it's 10, sometimes it's less than that. Sometimes it's a solo filmmaker trying to do it all themselves. And we like to look at that large spectrum of talent, from the film school student or graduate to people who have been in the industry 10, 20, 30 years. We've had a wide range on this show. I am thankful for this show on WRUU. I'm thankful to see how it's grown, how it's really supported the station, and really supported in the sense that, hopefully bringing listeners and to the radio station, as a lot of our wonderful hosts that give of their free time to make this the number one radio station, best local radio station, and best talk radio. We have so many hosts, and so proud and of them all, and they have great content. Like I said, you can check out wruu.org, check out the website, and you'll see just a plethora of various shows on WRU that are available on 107.5 FM. And we are one of the biggest radio stations, if not the biggest in the country, based upon how many people we have volunteer-wise, that is. And that's something to be proud of. A lot of people that you don't see that are working tirelessly to keep the signal on, to keep everything running, to all the logistics. I want to say a special thank you to those people that make all this possible, that allow content creators like myself to have our space and our time to create and to make sure that you're getting really good quality here, to make sure that you're getting the best that we can give you as broadcasters here. And being part of the media, it's a responsibility we don't take lightly. I certainly don't. And very thankful to be here. Very thankful to have featured in these 3 years now, going on starting our 4th year of broadcasting here on Savannah on Film. It's a celebration. Yay, we got to celebrate. And so this is a celebration episode, definitely. I want to thank my fellow broadcasters, as I said, at the radio station. A lot of good radio folk there, and decades upon decades of a wealth of knowledge and knowing and seeing these other creators that are creating their content weekly is amazing if you think about it. As an industry, as a film industry, we've gone through 2020, and are we still in a pandemic? Yes. In 2021, this is June of 2021 when I'm recording this, and yes, the pandemic's still going on. Let us not forget that just because things have gotten considerably better in the US, let's not forget about the rest of the world. This is a global radio station. You can hear it on wruu.org. So a lot of our shows they're all beamed, worldwide on the internet. So if there's anybody watching outside the United States, and I know we have listeners outside the US as well, our thoughts and prayers are always with you, mine, especially because 2020 was a rough year. 2020 was the pandemic, and into 2021, I know there are a lot of other countries out there that are still dealing with it. We've seen how it's affected the industry. Last I heard, they had to shut down Mission Impossible 7 production of that. I'm not sure as of yet if it has gone back up, but I think they've had 3 individual situations where they had to shut down production because of COVID. One show I've really enjoyed on the CW is Superman and Lois, and I know they had to shut down for several weeks because they had some COVID cases, and it happens, but I'm, even at a local level, I am so very surprised, and not surprised. I'm really not surprised. In some ways I am, but I'm not, but I'll explain why and what I'm about to say. I'm surprised in the sense that productions got up and running as quickly as they did, but 2020 feels like forever. And sometimes I have to blink and say, oh my gosh, it's, as a recording of this, it's mid-June of 2021, and we're still talking about a pandemic. Thankfully, the vaccines have become available, and I hope worldwide we do a better job collectively of getting those vaccines out to other countries and helping them. And I know we're doing that, and we're taking care of each other because we're one global community. We're, we like to say here at WRUU, we're community radio with global soul. and we are a mixing pot of everything and everyone, and just like America is, and the resiliency of people in the film industry is, I think, sometimes even more incredible because you get to see it. I was on a recent feature film, and don't worry, I won't say anything about it, but I can tell you that the protocols were followed to the letter on COVID, and I was thankful. It kind of put my mind at ease through some of the even the possible dark times when vaccines were coming out, or before they were coming out or widely available. Definitely before I got my vaccine, being tested so much. And I know you all feel that, and you've all been on productions. You've been a background actor, I'm sure, locally on some projects, and wherever you're listening from, you've probably gone through the same thing. And if you're not actually in the film industry, but you're just very curious about what's going on, the procedures that were put in place worked very well, in my opinion. I believe that everyone that I have come across, we've heard some hiccups, where people on certain films, we heard the Tom Cruise incident there, where somebody didn't have their mask on, and he kind of went off on him. But I respect Tom Cruise because he's trying. When you're executive producer on something, your money, your career, your word is on the line when you're dealing with lawyers, like he said, lawyers, the studio, and executives back in Hollywood, and they're looking to you to be, as Tom said, the gold standard on things. I respect that, and as someone who's been part of a crew on a feature film, I can understand and I can certainly appreciate that attention to detail, and I appreciate people that are looking out for my safety. And that goes without saying to everybody who became part of the health and safety and the COVID response teams, to the different pods and different zones that were enacted, and a lot of what the DGA sent down, I think really helped. And in this state of Georgia, especially, the guidelines that really helped us get the film industry up and going again, because nobody wanted to see just repeats of stuff. We want this new content. We all live for new content, and part of it is getting out and getting vaccinated. I personally got my vaccines, and I was. Still will wear my mask in certain places, whatever feels comfortable. But where we're living here in Georgia, they've relaxed a lot of the wearing mask things in some places. I don't think, as of the recording of this, I think you can go almost anywhere without a mask at this point if you're vaccinated. And it's very important. I'm not going to preach to you about how important the vaccines are, but from my personal point of view, they're very important. And it's not about just vaccinating yourself or your own self. It's as I've always thought, and others have said this, but it's about keeping others safe and making sure that we stay safe. And anybody that knows me knows, if I could, I would live in the theater. And we have an AMC here in town, and I've gone to see a few films as a recording of this. I've seen In the Heights, I've seen Cruella, and which I enjoyed both of those. And of course, I saw A Quiet Place Part 2. And that was one of my most anticipated films along with In the Heights. But those are two of my most anticipated films of 2020. So it took a year to get them, and I'm excited that I've seen those films. I've gone out AMC, hands up or whatever, or clapping for you there. They've done a wonderful job, at least on all the situations that I've went to the theater, and it's not been as much as it sounds like, but I feel much safer and more secure personally because I've been vaccinated, and I encourage people to get vaccinated. That is your choice. But let's do it for each other. if you're not doing it for yourself, at least do it for someone else. But you should want to do it for yourself. I personally think, because being vaccinated and taking care of yourself is very important, and that's what it is. So I want to thank everybody who's gone out there and done their part. Everybody in the industry at the different levels of keeping us safe, of the testing when you enter set, you know, um, when you go on set, and enough can't be said for the procedures. Did it cost Hollywood a lot of money on all these productions? Certainly. Was it worth it? Definitely. There's been a lot of productions that didn't have to shut down because they followed these new safety protocols. And so that's the big thing. It's still continuing. We're still technically in a pandemic. The rates are extremely low in the US compared to where they were. And even with the variants and that have popped up. And I want to say that I'm very thankful that the scientists, I believe in science, so I'm very thankful that science has won out and that people are understanding the importance of doing these things and getting those vaccines out there. And so it's really helped the industry, and the industry's come roaring back. Box office numbers, like A Quiet Place Part 2 is the first pandemic film, or a film, released during the pandemic. It's one of those hybrid releases, but in theaters, it's crossed $100 million as of the recording of this. So, A Quiet Place Part 2, that is. And so that's a good sign. I like to see that. I look at box office doesn't mean everything. It does to the people that make the films. But, it's good to see basically the sign that says that we are getting back to normal, that we're putting in the effort, and it's all the way up and down the line. Even if you're on a student production, there's COVID protocols in place. And I think there's been that talk before we've had on different episodes of Savannah on Film, where we talked about whether, my question was, because of the extra money it would cost, especially on lower budgets or ultra low budgets, or sometimes what I call no budget films, would they be following the protocol? Would they be being safe? Is this what they're doing appropriately? And so the question remains yes, or the answer I've heard is yes, because my worry was, well, you're on, maybe a student film, or you're on a lower tier project. Maybe they won't follow it. Well, I don't really think you have much of a choice. You kind of have to follow the safety protocols for COVID. And I'm glad that every production I've been involved with, not that many through the pandemic, to be honest, but everything I've been involved with, they've followed the procedures. They've been professional about it. And I was more than glad to do my part and whatever was asked of me, whether it was felt like an inconvenience or not. I didn't look at it that way. I look at it as being part of the film community, being part of that, what they call a village that makes, a film, a small family, even if it's temporary, for however long your production is, from through principal photography and, wrap all the way to wrap on the film. And so it's really good to see professionals at all different levels doing what they need to do, and keeping themselves safe and keeping others safe. And so enough about that. But that's the big thing that we've been dealing with the entire year with 2020. So there have been a lot of other things. We're talking the big scope here. This is our third anniversary, going into our fourth year at Savannah on Film here on WRUU 107.5 FM, also WRUU.org. And we're on Saturday, 7 to 8 p.m. every Saturday. And we're going to be coming back with new shows for you. And I apologize for being away so long, but I was on a feature film, which is going to be spectacular once it makes it um, to the big screen. And it was filmed here in Savannah, and I'm so incredibly thankful. It was possibly the best experience I've ever had on a feature film. Um, Really came along. This opportunity came along for me at the right time. I was able to start this year essentially working on that film, and I was not afraid of what I call pivoting. Some people, I'm not the one that created the word pivoting, but but sometimes in your career you have to pivot, and that's a good place for us to take um, a little break here. But don't go anywhere, because we're going to come back and we're going to talk more about Savannah on film. And thank you everybody who's been listening. This is our 3rd-year anniversary episode, as we enter our 4th year at Savannah on Film here on WRUU. I'm your host, Ed Ciucevich, and here's a few announcements, and we'll come back right after those messages. So don't go nowhere, okay? And anyway, we'll be right back in a moment.
Are you hesitant about receiving the coronavirus vaccination? Contact your physician. It is estimated that 97% of all physicians have been vaccinated. What do they know that you don't know? Or talk to a friend or relative who has been vaccinated and find out why they have taken it. For more information, contact www.cdc.gov.
Need a vaccine? You can visit vaccines.gov or text your zip code to 438827 to find a vaccination site near you. For the information in Spanish, text vacuna 822862. Again, if you need a vaccine, you can visit vaccines.gov or text your zip code to 438829 to find a vaccine site in your area. For information in Spanish, text vacuna 822862. Disasters don't stop even during a pandemic. The Red Cross is here to help when disasters strike. They respond to a disaster every 8 minutes. They help people to prepare for disasters, and they help prevent disasters such as home fires. The Red Cross saves lives by providing blood. And now, free COVID-19 antibody testing is available when donating blood with the Red Cross. More information about Red Cross services and donating blood can be found at www.redcross.org. Disasters don't.
To be able to go back to the movies.
Introduce my family to my new girlfriend.
For my husband, who's been a chronic asthmatic his whole life.
So I can visit friends in a different state.
So I can take my granddaughter out to the park again.
So that I can hug my 85-year-old grandma again.
We each have our own reason for why we're getting vaccinated against COVID-19. What will yours be? Visit getvaccineanswers.org for information on the COVID-19 vaccines. It's up to you. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
WRUU brings you the most diverse and passionate local radio programming on the air in Savannah. This all-volunteer and nonprofit community radio station accepts no money from any form of government. Our diversity and independence is made possible only through the generous financial support of listeners like you. We rely on your annual and ongoing monthly contributions to cover the many costs associated with bringing you our broadcast and web programming. If you are a contributor, thank you. If you're not yet a contributor, please show your appreciation of the role WRUU plays in your life by becoming a contributor in any amount. You can donate quickly and easily by credit card or check. Just find the donate and subscribe links at wruu.org. Thanks for listening to and supporting WRUU.
You're listening to WRUU-LP, Savannah, Georgia, 107.5 FM, WRUU.org. We are Savannah Soundings, community radio with global soul.
And we are back here on Savannah on Film. I'm your host, Ed Ciucevich. We're here every Saturday evening from 7 to 8 p.m. on 107.5 FM in Savannah. And we are on WRUU.org. And you should check out that website because there's a lot of stuff there. We have a lot of the programs, a lot of the shows on there you can listen directly to there. If you're watching the video version of this on YouTube, we are on Savannah on Film on YouTube. And you can subscribe, enable notifications for new content, and give a thumbs up to the videos there. That would be fantastic. I'd appreciate it. We'd all appreciate it. That's Savannah on Film. That's on YouTube. We're on Instagram, Savannah on Film Radio, and on Twitter, Savannah on Film 1. And don't forget Facebook. We're there too because we're all over our social media. We're Savannah on Film on Facebook. And we're always looking for people to like and follow our page there as well. And like I said, subscribe to the YouTube. And you're going to find a plethora of, that's the second time I used the word plethora. You're going to find a whole bunch of, how about that? New word. You'll find a varying amount of different levels of professional advice on how to get in the industry, how to thrive in the industry, and find out what's going on in the industry. Not just Savannah local, but in the film industry. If you're students coming out of Georgia Film Academy or coming out of SCAD or one of those organizations, there's a lot of great talent and there's a lot of great information on our social media there, especially on YouTube. You may want to check out, and it's all there for your consumption anytime. So that's one of the things that I learned during the pandemic. We talked before the break there about pivoting. I pivoted into a totally different role in 2021, and it was the best experience in film I think I've ever had, and so at least to date. So, and I'm always looking for the next new challenge, and that's what is exciting about life is meeting those challenges and overcoming them. And I will be frankly honest with you. 2020 was rough. I've lost people close to me, family and friends, during COVID-19, during the pandemic, and 2020 was not easy, but I chose to look at it as a chance to learn different things, and I learned different ways of doing the radio show, and so that's why I really think you shouldn't be afraid of change. You shouldn't be afraid of pivoting to a different department, or something you just know you're going to do, or it may be a temporary detour, as it were, in your career. You may have written, directed, produced everything, your student film, and then you get a chance to work locations on a feature film. Well, you definitely want to say yes, or a TV series. We've had several of those come through Savannah, and we're going to have several more. I know the industry has come roaring back, and it's amazing to see, how much money is spent on productions, and those numbers that you hear, they're true, of the economic impact that it makes. And that's why, we talked with different guests during the pandemic that we had here on Savannah on Film. And it's not just the film industry that shut down. Of course, we know everything pretty much shut down, and then everything is getting close to being open if it hasn't already, depending where you are in this country or the world. But the thing is, seeing those outlying industries like catering companies that, people that supply crafty to a film or a TV series, any production, though they're coming back. Restaurants are coming back. Everything's coming back. Hollywood is back. And the more of it that's filmed in Savannah, the happier we are, of course. And that is part of the tourism. It's part of the hotel industry. I can't tell you how many hotels, and during the pandemic, it seemed like we're still popping up everywhere, especially in downtown Savannah. If you ever come to Savannah, you'll fall in love with it. It's my hometown, so I've always been in love with Savannah. It's gorgeous. It's just a beautiful. It has so many different beautiful places to film, and there is much more of the infrastructure that is coming up. You know, we mentioned SCAD's studio that they're doing, and that can only mean good things, especially for local filmmakers. There are other, hotels and stuff for crews when they come in. There's more places to stay than there was a year ago, and so filling up those rooms and Savannah getting back to all its glory. Savannah is known as a walking city, so it's the first planned in America. It was the first planned out city, so everything is in a block basically, in different blocks and squares and stuff like that. And anyway, so there's a lot of places and a lot of beauty to experience in Savannah. If you haven't, I suggest you put it on your list of things to do in your lifetime is visit Savannah, because here in Georgia we are a beautiful city here on the coast of Georgia. We have so many incredibly talented professionals here. I was just going to say a pool of talent. I was trying to think of what to say there. And it's true. And seeing the next generation, mentorship is another thing we've talked about on this show in the 3 years, now going on 4 years of Savannah on Film. I feel it's important to always pass on your knowledge. It's almost selfish to gain all that knowledge, I think, and not share it. Part of the joy of mentoring someone, helping someone, if they've got a question with something, helping them up to the next level, maybe. Definitely, you will learn from watching some of our content here on Savannah on Film or listening to it in podcast form. We're on Anchor, by the way, and all the other platforms, Savannah on Film. If you just want to listen, while you're working out at the gym and you want to hear about the film industry, or you want to hear some uplifting stories from people who have worked in the industry for years, or people that are coming up in the industry and their struggles and their successes. We've got so many stories like that, and so much inspiring stories of different people. And we've got a lot of guests. I've got a lot of guests lined up coming soon. So we're getting back into the rhythm, the groove of things here on Savannah on Film, and getting you more new content. And I'm so excited that what 2021 and beyond has to offer us in the film and TV industries, all the productions that are coming here, and the excitement around it that everyone is seeing. Just checking something here. Okay, that everyone is seeing happen. All of these wonderful productions and things that are coming to fruition. So very excited for the fact that we are really thriving here in Savannah, and I hope that it continues for the rest of the film community throughout the world. My thoughts and prayers are with those countries that are dealing with second and third waves at this point of COVID. And I don't want to just talk about COVID here. It's the elephant in the room we can't ignore, and we shouldn't ignore, because it's very important we all continue to do our part. And what else can I tell you about Savannah on Film? It's evolved. It started out, of course, just a radio show. Then I got the Facebook page going, and we did a lot of live shows there on Facebook. And then we kind of pivoted, there you go, to doing the YouTube premieres of the show. And, I hadn't decided exactly how I'm going to go forward with it. I'd probably stick with the YouTube shows, but we may do some Facebook lives, I'm not back in the studio right now. You would know that if you're watching the video. You can see I'm in my home studio, and but we'll have more stuff. We're doing what we feel is safe. I'm proud of the radio station for following all the safety protocols that they did. The responsibility, the leadership that we have at WRUU has been wonderful, and it's been great to be able to contribute to help the radio station become the best it can be, to get the word out about WRUU and the fantastic programming we have there. And our show here, Savannah on Film, is just a part of that, and a thankful part of the WRUU family. And I could just go on talking. It's been a while, as you can tell. I haven't talked for a while. That's not true. I talk all the time. Okay, but the thing is, it's really good to see the industry, the film industry, getting up and moving, and people back to creating, to do what they truly are called to do, what they love to do, what inspires others. I'm interested to see what content that will come from, essentially almost a year of being shut down, the film industry, and it's starting back up. And, how will it affect people's view on reality and different things, and from their everyday stuff, and how their situations, how it's touched people individually. And, we went through a global event, first and hopefully only pandemic in my lifetime. I can't imagine what it was like over 100 years ago when, we had the last big pandemic, and at least here in America. So it's just strange. Everything is surreal, and it feels weird. I don't know if you're like me. I have a little bit of anxiety, so I was doing what was told to do. Wore my mask everywhere, stayed inside, self-isolated, all that good stuff that the CDC was recommending, and I still follow the recommendations of what the CDC says. Follow the science. I believe that. And excuse me a second. Excuse me, I did so much talking there. I had to get a sip of a drink there. And so yes, it's just seeing all the things that needed to be done. At first I was like, it was weird, and I know you've all probably been through stages of this, where is it okay to go outside with a mask when they loosen the regulations, and I got vaccinated, and I was like, okay. Almost for a year I wasn't around people, which is not like me, because I'm very much a people person. And so the pandemic was not well for me. Was not what I would have picked to do. It was not at all, of course, what I thought 2020 would be. But just learning to get out of my comfort zone, learning to get back into life, and at first it was difficult, and then you didn't know what level of how, or I didn't know what level of how much to get back into regular life. And when can you shake hands? Is shaking hands coming back? And if you trust the vaccine, if you trust the science, you trust the vaccines, which you should. They're very important, and it'll help us get to this herd immunity. It'll help us all get back to a better wellness state of being, that we can continue to do our productions, go to our jobs, be productive members of society, and just help out wherever we can, and follow our passions and dreams. See, that's what I've missed. Because of the pandemic, I missed the content. I missed the people that were making the films, that were seeing their dreams realized, and people that you get that fire inside of you. If you're a creative person, you have to create. You have to always be doing something. And I always have that feeling, am I doing enough? Am I, if I'm not creating, I feel like I'm not doing a thing. And and that's what's sad sometimes is, you can get caught up in the creative process. But with that being said, it is very comforting to know that we're on our way back. We made it through this, and we're going to continue to thrive, and we're going to continue to do well, and we're all going to be, as we're in this together, we're going to come through this. And for everybody who watches this, everybody who's followed us through our shows during the pandemic, no, my thoughts and prayers go out to you, to the family, to the friends, to the crew, to those long lost people in your lives that maybe you didn't get to always say you loved them, or you appreciated them, or you're thankful for them. Let this be a moment in time. Let this be a moment that I feel we say that we care about each other. Let's continue to support each other. One thing that took a hit were people's mental health. A lot of people and their anxieties, and a lot of people within the industry, this happens, and outside the industry, of course. But people deal with loss and regret, and they deal with enough things of where's your next gig going to come from when you work in the film industry. So we need to be supportive. I've got to go, I guess it's over a month now at this point, to a film mixer. It was one of the first I went to in at least a year. And so it was so great to make contact with people that I've been seeing online, and Zoom calls and phone calls or texts and all that, and being fully vaccinated, trusting the science, trusting the vaccine. I feel much more comfortable going out there and reconnecting with people, because that connection is what keeps us sane, what keeps us, because we're social beings, as humans, we're all social beings, and we want to connect with other people. And I hope and pray that you all have very good health through 2021 and throughout the years to come. And I hope that you look out for others. I hope that coming through this pandemic, it's always been my hope that we are a little kinder to each other, no matter who we are, what we look like, whatever our backgrounds are. We all treat each other with a little bit more kindness, a little bit more patience, a little bit more love. And I personally think that's not a bad thing to strive for. Let's make it a better place. Let's make this world a better place. And so anyway, I've got to wrap it up pretty soon here. And I want to thank everybody who has supported Savannah on Film by, subscribing to our YouTube channel, following all our social media on Facebook and everything. And thank you for being patient. While I wasn't able to put out new content as much as I had wanted to, and it's good to be back. I didn't go anywhere. I was just busy, and thankfully busy. And I want to hear about what productions you're working on, what's coming to town, what you're excited about, what you're looking forward to seeing on the big screen, the little screen, TV, films. I'm glad that theaters are back. I'm so excited for all this, and it's a sight. Excitement abounds, and this is a wonderful way to bring to an end this third anniversary episode as we enter our fourth year on WRUU here in Savannah, out of Savannah, Georgia. 107.5 FM is the radio station, and very thankful to be part of the WRUU family. And Savannah on Film is also very thankful to be part of that family, to be voted by the Connect Savannah as best radio station, best local radio station, and best talk radio. I believe it's the second year. I could be wrong on that. That we have got it. Best local radio station. but I think the third year that we've gotten Best Talk Radio. Could be wrong on that, so forgive me if I got those numbers wrong there, but once again, we're best local radio station in Savannah, Georgia, and we are Best Talk Radio, and we're very thankful for all the listeners of the radio station, to all the different programs that our station has to offer, and so thankful for all that. So this isn't a Christmas episode, but this is I'm thankful that we made it this far, and we've got so much more for you to experience. So I really hope that you leave this episode with a lot of joy, a lot of inspiration, and just excitement for what the future holds, because Savannah on Film, we're going to be there with you on it, and I'm just super excited for the journey ahead of us. So thank you everyone who has helped out with the show in any way by supporting us. It's been a labor of love. It truly is, from my heart. Thank you. And I'm showing off my WRUU 107.5 Savannah shirt right here in the video. If you see it on a YouTube at Geek Home World is my other podcast, my other show, but Savannah on Film. If you see that on YouTube, you'll see me proudly wearing my shirt there. So thank you very much. I guess I need to bring this to a close. I never know how to end it, but I usually do on this show. I usually know how to end this show. So I don't know what to say, but thank you. And hit us up on our social media. Let us know if you're interested in being a guest on the show. I want to hear what you're doing. If you're local, how everything is affecting you in a good way, and what you're doing to make a change in the film industry and all that. So thank you so much for being a part of this anniversary special, of the 3rd year anniversary special, going into our 4th year of Savannah on Film. I'm your host, Ed Ciucevich, and thank you all so much, and take care of each other. Let's be more compassionate and patient with each other, and let's just creatively do what we were born to do, and let's take it to that next level, and that next level, and that next level, and the next level beyond that. There's nothing but super optimism coming from me at this point on where the film industry is going in Savannah. I'm excited for it. I'm excited for where we go beyond this, and you should be too. And if you're interested in getting in the film industry, we've got a lot of content that can help you out with that. So thank you, and thank you. And I'm going to roll the end credits here or whatever. And this is Savannah on Film. I'm your host, Ed Ciucevich. You can hear us every Saturday from 7 to 8 p.m. here on WRUU 107.5 FM. We are WRUU.org. We are Savannah Soundings Community Radio with Global Soul. You have been listening to another episode of Savannah on Film, where we give a voice to the Savannah film community. Please like our Facebook page, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and follow us on Twitter. This program was originally broadcast on 107.5 FM in Savannah, Georgia, and worldwide on www.wruu.org. Join us next time for more intriguing insights into the vibrant Savannah film community here at Savannah on Film.